Where I got cut off on the last video, I was previewing the page or the site, and I expected to see a navigation for the About page that we just made. Normally in the past, as soon as you add something, it shows up on the menu. And it may have for you. It's probably a theme dependent thing. So we're not going to worry about that. In fact, as we go on, we will talk about themes, and then we will talk about how to make custom menus. So let's go ahead and add another page. Logged in, and at the dashboard we are going to go to Pages, Add New, and I'm going to make this a complete test page for the images so you can see all my different image sizes that I made compared. Even though I made a quick little blog on it, this is going to be a dedicated page. So I'm going to fill in this info, and then start adding images. Just so I can show you a little bit about page hierarchy, I'm going to make two categories, large and small images. So I'm going to click on the plus button. I'm going to add a new heading. And whoop, I did not want it to go there. So let's Command Z that. I think if I get my cursor inside of here and then do it, it should show up where I want it. There we go. So now, usually right off the bat, it's going to make it a little bit smaller than this one, which is good. But let's get a clear sense of hierarchy. So let's make it quite a bit smaller than this. So all we have to do is highlight it, and automatically these things are popping up here. But let's see what happens if we go away, if they just automatically, yeah, looks like they're just automatically going to be there. So we're going to click H3. So we see this is the big guy, and then hierarchically this is way down, and then this would be number 2 to image test page. Okay, so now that we've got that, we're going to click the plus, and we are going to start adding images. So I've just been going one after another, clicking the plus sign, making sure that if you want something to show up after here, that you click here to activate this. If you wanted something to show up in between these two, you'd click on this one and then click the plus button. But we'll just continue on with one last image in here. And instead of dragging and dropping, I'm just simply clicking on upload, navigating to my images, clicking open, and there we go. Now, to continue my hierarchy here, I want to do the same thing. Instead of smaller images, I want this to say larger images after here. And so we're going to go down to here, click on this last image, click on the plus, click heading, paste that in here, and change this to larger, click back on it, select the whole thing, and be consistent with the hierarchy. So since the top one was H3, we'll make that one H3 as well. Click inside of here, click the plus button, click image, and I have two large images that I'll add. And then the last step to creating a page is to click publish. You may want to experiment around here, see what these things are that show up on the side. So if you select one of the blocks, you can see it shows you basic information about it. For the most part, if you're just a beginner, you don't have to worry too much about this stuff, but just wanted to make you aware. And then, like I said, we're going to click publish, and it lets us know here that the page was published, and we could either click here or here to view the page. And so then you see this nice hierarchy. This is big, this is smaller, and even the H2 probably would have looked decent here. And the key thing that I'm trying to show with these images is it gives you a good idea as to what is too big for an image. Like here you can see that on this size browser that these 50 pixel grids are all the same size here. But once we get here to where this is 520 pixels wide, and given that this theme is wasting all this space over here, you start to realize that that image, you're really not gaining a whole lot, And then when you get to the real big ones, you see how small it has to make them to fit in here. And then the bigger one, it's even more obvious. But now if you are using an image all the way across the screen, then the higher resolution to a certain point is going to be your friend. Now, if this bothers you that once you preview a site and then you click back here to get to the dashboard that it looks a little bit different, one thing you can do is just keep multiple tabs open. So open up another tab and then put in your site address. And then you could use this tab for viewing the site, this tab for editing. But once you're getting this look, how do you go back? Well, what you'd have to do is go here, put in your actual URL, make sure it doesn't say WordPress in front of it, put in the / and then the admin, and then you're back there. And then we'll just keep flip-flopping from here to preview any changes. All right, as far as pages go, we have our About page, the image test page that I just made, and now here's something that you're going to have to do with me. We are going to need a home page because we want to make this look more like a website and not a blog, at least for this process check. So we are going to add yet another page, call that the home page. After filling in the basics here, we're going to put in an image. Now, something that we're going to keep in mind is that if we already have the images that we need in our media library, we don't want to upload them because, as you can see, when I go into my media library, I have duplicates in here now. So from when I made the blog to when I made the page, I have these pages in here twice. And if I deleted one now, it would break the link. So if I was really trying to make this thing as efficient as possible and I knew I was going to have a bunch of images, I would delete one of these, go back and see where it caused a problem and then fix the problem. I'm not worried about that right now. So what we're going to do is just select one of the images from the media library here and then click select. And put caption if you want to. Remember to click publish. And then if you deleted your contact page or never made one to start with, now we need to address that. If you don't have a contact form, we'll start by making a new page, filling out here, and then we are going to go to the plus button, add block, and then we're just going to do a search in here for contact. And what we want is contact form. And then we're going to put in the email address that it'll go to and what we want the title to be, and then click add form. So in the future, if somebody fills out our contact form, it'll send an email to whatever you put here, and then this will be the subject in the email that you receive. Okay, so by default, their name is required. Their email is required, which certainly makes sense to me. Them putting in their website, to me, for the most part, could be quite confusing. So I would either make that not required, or we can even just simply get rid of it. So we're going to go over here to more options, and we are going to remove the block. So that's nice and simple, but let's say there was something else that you wanted. You could just simply go to one of these areas here where you can add a block and then put in whatever it is that you think makes sense for them to put in. I would be very careful about, when you click over here, this thing comes up, is it required or not? If you put too many things that are required, you can drive people away. So when we're happy with our form, we're just going to simply click publish. And if we want to see what that looks like without leaving the page, since we don't have a working link to it, we can just click here, copy link, go up to a new page up here, paste that in there, and there's the contact page we just made. It's kind of confusing the first time you look at this. You see, why does it have my name in here and my email address? That's just because you're previewing it and you're logged in. But if somebody views your site And the best way to test this is just go to a computer where you're not logged in and the cookies doesn't remember you. You'll see that just this comes up blank. Or if the person had been using WordPress, it might come in with their information here. But anyway, this would be the user's name, the user's email, the user's message, and then they would click submit. Okay, so back in our editing area, click here, bring me back to the dashboard. If I go to pages, I can see that now we have an adequate amount of pages for a website. We made the home page, we have a contact about, and then one other page here. Next topic we are going to move on to is menus. Menus are under appearance. Okay, and you can see I have an error here, and I believe that was when I deleted that initial contact page. And that's probably what stopped the other ones from showing up automatically. But even if yours did show up automatically, you still want to know about making menus, because in here you can customize the order that the items appear in your menu. You can make hierarchical menus where you have drop-down menus. So first of all, let me just fix this issue by deleting this page. Just gonna use that little caret drop down and click on remove. And then we'll just click save menu, and then hopefully that error will go away. Okay, and it refreshed without the error. And you can see this wasn't checked right here, automatically add new top level pages to this menu. So if you did want every time you made a new page for it to automatically show up, you could check this. But if you have a lot of sub-menu items, then you probably do not want to check this. And then you can see this tells where this menu that you're about to work on would display. Most of the time it's in the header. You could also have it down in your social media area. And so let's start to populate this menu. So over here we have things that we have done recently, like pages, posts. Usually you don't want to add an individual post to a menu. That's just going to be like, like under blog, for example. So all that's on here right now is home, which is not even the home that we want, but we'll go over here, we'll click contact, we'll click add to menu, and then it should show up over here. Yep. And then let's just go ahead and do the same for image test page and about. Add those to the menu. We are also going to add our home page to the menu. Now this might look confusing at first, but I think it kind of helps that this says custom link here. So this was the one that they made for us to start with, that right now takes us to our blog. We'll add our home. We'll just remember it's going to show up at the end of the menu. We're going to save this. We'll go out and we'll look at it on the tab. And with a quick refresh, you can see that everything's working like it should, except for the fact that if somebody just types in our address, they're still going to the blog, not to the home page. So to fix that two-step process, we need to create a page called blog. Called it blog. I'm not even going to put any content here. I'm going to click on publish so that it becomes a page within my site. Okay, you can see it here. Then for the second step, settings, reading, and then your home page displays. We're going to change this to a static page. Select home, post page, select blog, scroll down, make sure we click save changes, and let's preview now. Now if somebody goes to our website, just by typing in the address, they're taken to the home page, and now we just need to clean up this menu. So appearance, menu, we can get rid of this one. The home page that we put makes sense that that should be the very first thing. And then it just depends, you see all I'm doing is dragging these items to reorder, and just make sure that something doesn't tuck under a menu item unless you want it to make a hierarchical structure, which we'll talk more about in the next. And we can add our blog to the main menu. Click here, click add to the menu, And then once that's done, we'll click Save Menu and we'll test it. Now if somebody goes to our website, you can see it comes up at the home page. They could go to the blog or any other page.